Good evening, and you're very welcome back to Around the Grounds here at Finalwhistle.ie. And this lovely Saturday evening, we had action in the Premier and the First Division today, just one game apiece, but we also had a full round of fixtures in the Women's National League. Definitely a load of action to get through, and we have reporters, of course, at all the various grounds to cover the different fixtures from today. Now, we will start with the only First Division game of the evening, which took place down at Bishopsgate between Longford Town and Treaty United. Two teams who are locked in a promotion battle, but definitely Longford looking to get a big 3 points as they have games in hand, of course, over Galway and Cork City as they look to try and mount a title charge. Watching the action at Bishopsgate was Denise O'Flaherty.
Hi, and it ended in stalemate at Bishopsgate as the home side were made room missed opportunities. Treaty United keeper Jack Brady making a string of fine saves to keep his goal intact. So it doesn't matter because both sides extend their unbeaten run. Longford Town to 7 and Treaty United to 6. The home side thought they had taken the lead in the 29th minute when a free from Diarmuid was headed home by Eric Malloy, but it was ruled out for offside. Shane Elworthy then took a powerful shot from distance, and that was expertly tipped over the bar by Brady. 3 minutes later, and ex-Galway players Mark Ludden, he connected with a free to Enda Kern, and he headed over the bar. In the 37th minute, Kern had a great chance to put Treaty ahead. He picked up on a mistake by Dylan Barnett. He got through, and instead of hitting his shot first time, he twisted and turned a little and then took the shot, but his effort was well saved by town keeper Luke Dennison. In the 60th minute, Aaron Robinson hit a powerful effort from about 35 yards out, and that was saved by Brady. The rebound fell to Sam Burden, but he couldn't connect, and 4 minutes later, Carl Chambers was to be denied by the Treaty netminder. Burden should have done better with his effort in the 69th minute after a fine cross from Elworthy. Verdon tonight had a bit of an off night and nothing seemed to go right for him. Down the other end, two Treaty subs combined, with Dean George putting in a pinpoint cross to William Armshaw, but he mishit his effort and Dennison was able to claim. The home side huffed and puffed, but just couldn't find a way past Brady. Darren Craven took a low drive that just went wide of Brady's right-hand post in the 84th minute, and McMenemy tried his luck from distance in the 87th minute, but his effort was well off target. In the first minute of stoppage time, Treaty were awarded a free, which Ludden took. Dennison dived to his right to push the ball out for a corner as the game finished 0-0.
Perfect, Denise. Thank you for that report from Bishopsgate. Now we will go and move on to the Women's National League fixtures today. Definitely all spread out across different times, but the first of which kicked off earlier today, that was the meeting between DLR Waves and Shelbourne at the UCD Bowl. Of course, Shelbourne looking to extend their unbeaten run and remain at the top of the table to try and keep Peamount at bay, while Waves definitely looking to kickstart a little bit of form as they have slipped over the last few weeks. Watching the action was Alana Canan.
The other Waves shook the boat in the Women's National League this afternoon, overcoming the reigning champion Shelbourne 1-0 at the UCD Bowl. A long ball in found Katie Malone, who chipped Amanda Budden to find the back of the net and ensure the home side snatched the lead just before half-time. The second half saw plenty of opportunities too, but the scoreline ultimately remained unchanged and signalled Shelbourne's first defeat of the year. Kick-off was slightly delayed in this Dublin derby, and when it did get up and running, much of the play didn't threaten really in enormous capacity from either side. The main highlight, other than the goal, came with 34 minutes on the clock when Ireland teammates came to blows, with Eve Bandana closing down Abby Larkin from close range. Malone then netted in the 43rd minute, marking the Reds' first goal conceded in the 2022 Women's National League campaign. Niamh Pryor replaced the injured Nicole Keogh, and Saoirse Noonan entered the fray in place of Kiva Keenan in a bid to add some fresh intensity to the second half. Larkin and Noonan peppered Badana's goal early in the second half, as did Kerry Letman and Malone down the other end. With an hour gone, Rachel Doyle replaced Sophie Waters, while Jessie Stapleton picked up a yellow card to follow in Pearl Slattery's footsteps earlier in the game, who had collected another yellow card too. Joy Ralph later came on for Malone as Waves continued to cause problems for Shells with their attacking momentum. Noel King then tried to counteract by bringing on Gloria Douglas and Alex Kavanagh for Abby Larkin and Rachel Graham in the 70th minute. Douglas in particular nearly had an instant impact, forcing Jess Gleeson into some last-ditch defending, but the Sky Blues managed to keep it out of the net. Shauna Fox made way for Gemma Quinn, while Leo O'Leary made her debut for Shells too, there with a few minutes to go on the clock.
Seems that we've just lost Alana's video there. Must be just a slight technical issue in that one. But we will just move on to one of the other games today, which was Treaty United taking on Athlone at the Markets Field. Of course, Treaty down at the bottom of the table looking for their first point in the season, but Athlone sitting relatively just above them in a couple of places looking for a win as well. Watching the action with Sean Comer.
Full time between Treaty United and Athlone Town at Markets Field, and Athlone Town have their second win of the Women's National League season with a 2-0 win over the Limerick outfit today, who are still searching for their first point after today's events. Around the 5-minute mark, Kelsey Monroe had a pair of frees. One was from long range. She sent that one into the box, but it went straight into the hands of Michaela Mitchell. And then at the 6-minute mark, she had one from just outside the box. A little bit too much power on this one, which she sent flying over the bar. Around the 17-minute mark, Kelly Brennan had a poor attempt at goal after a cross came in from the right-hand side. She didn't get the power on it, and the clearance found its way to Kelly Shine, who had an effort at goal, but she lashed it just over the bar. In the 25th-minute mark, Michaela Mitchell pulled off a good save after a cross from the right was poorly cleared. It hit off Rita Lang, and Mitchell had to dive down to her near post to deny Lang from getting what would have been a lucky goal, but a good save nonetheless. Around the half an hour mark, Kelly Brennan got the ball inside the box. She put a nice turn onto her left foot, but again, she hit this one straight at Mitchell. And then the last chance of the first half, I'd say, came around the 40-minute mark when Gillian Keenan pressed high, winning the ball off Jessie Mendez. She decided to take it onto her right foot, but the effort was straight at Mitchell again. It took until the second half for Athlone to get the breakthrough. When 10 minutes in, Kelsey Monroe swung in a corner from the right-hand side. This was poorly dealt with by Mitchell. She kind of flapped out it, and it came back to Monroe, who swung in a second ball. Dealt with poorly by anybody in the Treaty defence, and it went straight in to give Athlone the lead. Around the hour mark, the game started to get a bit lively. Lauren Keane was introduced, and around the 62nd minute, she found herself in oceans of space in the box. She could have gone for it on goal as she was one-on-one with Niamh Coombs, but she attempted to square it, and Athlone defender intervened, fell into the hands of Niamh Coombs. Athlone could have made it 2-0 around the 63rd minute when Kaylee Shine met a Gillian Keenan cross, but she lashed this one right over the bar, kind of similar to her early attempt. And then in the 65th minute mark, Treaty's best chance to score came when Jessie Mendez found herself one-on-one with Niamh Coombs, but Coombs denied her. This one was really ended in the 69th minute when Miriam Devaney played a long ball forward on the counter to Emily Corbett. She simply ran through and lashed it into the back of the net to make it 2-0 Athlone. She could have made it 3-0 in the 87th minute when the ball again was played through for her. It set up nicely for her in front of goal. She caught it on the half volley, but she sent this just wide. Nonetheless, all 3 points for Athlone for the second time this season, and Treaty are still looking for just one.
Perfect, Sean. Thank you for that report earlier on today from all of the action down at the Markets Field. Now, Peamount United were looking to keep their on-field 100% record alive today. They were in action at PRL Park against Cork City. Definitely looking to keep in touch with Shelbourne. Of course, with Shelbourne losing earlier on today, it was a great opportunity for them to go top of the table. Watching the action was Sam Curtin.
Yes, well, it was all about Anya O'Gorman this evening for Peamount as they took on Cork City at Green Oak this evening, and it was a fantastic performance, a 5-star performance from the Irish international. She got her first goal on 6 minutes, where she got the ball, and well, there was a bit of a debate really whether or not the ball went over the line. There was a kind of a goal mouth scramble, but the officials did give the goal, and that really just set the tone for the rest of the game and what would be a long afternoon for Cork City, but a very, very memorable one for Peamount. O'Gorman got her second goal on 10 minutes when she rounded keeper Abby McCarthy, who in fairness had a really, really good game despite the one-sided scoreline, making a couple of excellent saves to keep City in it, especially in the first half. Now, O'Gorman, unfortunately, though, from a City perspective anyway, got her hat-trick on 33 minutes with a close-range left-footed strike. But the captain didn't get all the glory, however, as Karen Duggan also got on the score sheet. She netted her first goal of the season on 37 minutes from a corner, actually. This time she headed in a corner from who I believe it was Sive O'Leary on that occasion. That was to give the hosts a 4-0 lead going into the break. In the second half, it was more of the same, and it was Stephanie Roach this time on 48 minutes. Of course, there's no stranger to fantastic goals, and this was no exception. A fantastic long-range effort going into the top corner, giving the goalkeeper no chance, really. to make it 5-0. To further Cork's woes, there was a lengthy stoppage in play as well as Lawrence with a serious injury before the hour mark, which caused a lengthy break in play. O'Gorman netted twice more before the afternoon finished to end up with a 5-goal tally at the end of the game. Well, sub Alana McAvoy also got on the score sheet in the 81st minute to make it 8-0. Unfortunately, the stream went down at this stage, so I wasn't sure exactly of what the goals were like, but really it was a fantastic performance from Peamount, a real complete team performance. Although, in fairness to Cork, they battled hard, they continued to battle on throughout the game, and they got their reward on 86 minutes when Shauna McCarthy's free kick was headed in by Peamount defender to at least get 1 goal back for the visitors. It finished though in the end a fantastic performance for Peamount United, a fantastic win as well, which puts them top of the Women's National League. It finished at Greenogue this evening, Peamount United 8, Cork City 1.
And thanks to Sam, of course, for sending in that report. Now, Bohemians were also in action today. They took on Galway at Dalymount Park. Both teams relatively down around the mid-table, looking to try and get a result to see them climb a few places above. Now, just due to a technical hiccup, we didn't have a report from a reporter down at Dalymount Park, but you'll notice on the bottom of your screen, you will see that Jenna Slattery held them ahead after just 5 minutes. A great start for Galway away from home. They remained on top. Both teams definitely having chances at either end going into the break, but it remained 1-0 in that regards. Then Emma Starr with a lovely finish after 55 minutes had them 2-0 ahead, and just 2 minutes later the goals kept coming for Galway as Shauna Brennan managed to net after 57 minutes. That result seeing them through 3-0 in the end. Big result for Galway and something that they can now build on for the remaining couple of weeks. Now, another team, of course, in action that are looking to remain toward the top of the table are Wexford Youths. They've had a great start to the season, looking to pick up another valuable 3 points at Ferry Carrick Park this afternoon, where they met Sligo Rovers. Sean Crosby brings you this report from Ferry Carrick Park.
Yes, well, full time here at Ferry Carrick Park. It finishes Wexford Youths 2, Sligo Rovers 0 in a game where Wexford Youths didn't really get everything to go entirely their way. They started the game off as you'd expect, dominating the ball, and they had a flurry of chances early on. Christine Sample was forced into making 2 great saves to deny both Kylie Murphy and Becky Watkins on separate occasions, and Maeve Russell also had an effort just go over the bar as well. After that, the game quietened down. Sligo really started to settle into it. They were very compact at the back, sat back, and didn't allow any space really for Wexford. And they really honed in on that front three of Becky Watkins, Ella Malloy and Kylie Murphy, not letting them any space in the ball, swarming them, forcing them into 2v1s and 3v1s, and it really caused some frustration for Wexford. They were, you could even hear Kylie Murphy shouting at the Wexford players to kind of settle down and not rush things as much. But eventually that individual quality just came through. 7 minutes before time, Becky Watkins controlling the ball out in the wing, went past her marker, cut inside, and a great finish with her left foot to stick it under Christine Sample to give Wexford a 1-0 lead at the break. And they looked very close to doubling that lead early in the second half. Ella Malloy on the end of a Ciara Rossiter cutback just on the edge of the 6-yard box, but her strike just rolled past the wrong side of the post. Sligo again then, after an early scare, they settled back into things, and this time in this half they were on the ball a lot more. They were playing with it more. They still only kind of produced a few half chances. Probably the biggest of them all was Gemma McGuinness went down inside the Wexford box and they had shouts for a penalty, but the referee waved play on. And Emma Hansbury free kick was delivered into the box and caused a small bit of panic for Wexford, but Maeve Williams in the goal collected that. And after that then, again, they matched their opponents pretty well, and I'm sure Steve Feeney was pretty happy with the account of the game themselves, but it was 10 minutes before time and it was Wexford hit them once again. Kylie Murphy with her shot being saved by Christine Sample, who was outstanding in the goal today for Sligo Rovers, but her save this time wasn't enough. Ciara Rossiter coming up with a follow-up to tap it into an empty goal to make it 2-0 to Wexford, and to give them all 3 points. But as I said, Stephen Feeney will be happy with his sides showing. They were very disciplined and really didn't allow Wexford much space. They made it into a very hard-fought game, as they did against Shelburne in Tolka Park. So there will be some positives for him there, but ultimately Stephen Quinn will be the happiest manager coming away with 3 points. And just looking ahead then at the table, Wexford are in third and level on points with Shelburne, who they face here next Tuesday at Ferrycarrig, and for Sligo Rovers they're away to Athlone Town on next Saturday. So finishes here at Ferrycarrig Park. Wexford Youths 2, Sligo Rovers 0.
A big thanks to Sean, of course, for sending that report in from Ferrycarrig Park this evening. Now we finish up our action back in the Premier Division, where Sligo Rovers were in action against Drogheda United at the showgrounds this evening. Now with teams around them getting 3 points over the last couple of days, Sligo definitely needed to pick up a result tonight against Drogheda, who are definitely somewhat safe in terms of relegation battle. They are a couple of points above both Shells and Sligo and Finn Harps at the bottom of the table. Now, while she started the day watching the action at the UCD Bowl, she would finish at Sligo Rovers. Alana Canan brings you this report.
Hi, Diarmuid. Yeah, the match between Sligo Rovers and Drogheda United this evening had everything, including 2 penalties, a sending off and a late winner, concluding things at 3-2 in the host favour at the showgrounds. David Cawley, the captain, of course, insisted it was a dream start for the hosts, netting 2 goals within the opening 4 minutes. Geordie Poynton pulled one back for Drogs then in the 26th minute, and then they went on to equalise 10 minutes into the second half via Shane Blaney own goal. Evan Weir was sent off shortly afterwards for a second yellow infringement on Cawley. And despite the game remaining at 2-2 for the majority of the second half, it was Gary Buckley who was the hero for Sligo in the 92nd minute. Wilfred Cawley's brace, the first of which came with less than a minute on the clock, and the second came in the 4th minute. Sligo often exploited Mark Byrne's space on the left wing throughout the game, in the first half especially, and really should have converted more of their chances through Cawley and Blaney. McGinty was seen to have fouled Brennan then inside the box for the first penalty, and so United were awarded that one. It was initially saved by McGinty and it was later followed up by Poynton, so that pulled one back for them at 2-1. Keena also had a penalty chance, and although it was saved by Sam Long, it meant the scoreline read 2-1 at the break. Dane Massey was quite impressive for Drogs in the second half, but it was a Dale Rooney cross that kind of changed everything for them. He curled the ball into Chris Lyons, who edged between 2 Sligo defenders to kind of make things difficult for them there, and the ball eventually deflected off Blaney and into the back of his own net. Weir's send-off didn't really open up the game like Rovers would have anticipated, and although they pressed for a winner, it kind of was a long time coming for them. Adam McDonald provided lots of threatening opportunities into the box, and while Lewis Banks came close on a number of occasions, Liam Buckley's men really struggled to capitalise on the extra man. They did, in fact, though, in the end. Gary Buckley there buried the ball into the back of the net with just minutes to go, scoring Rovers' second win on the bounce. Next up then on Friday, they head to Tulka Park in search of a win over Shelburne, while Drogheda come to blows with Dundalk.
Perfect, Alana. Thank you for that report from the showgrounds. Now we'll finish up with just a quick, brief run through all of the results from today's action, and you'll see all of the results scrolling at the bottom of your screen as well. As Alana has just mentioned, Sligo Rovers picking up a big 3-2 win over Drogheda, a late Gary Buckley goal, of course. They're the key decision in that one, and they had 2 goals, just as you can see there. They were 2-0 up by the 4th minute, but unfortunately for Drogheda, they couldn't hold out late on and seal and try and get a point from that one. Longford Town and Treaty United, of course, finishing 0-0 in the only game in the First Division. We're looking into the Women's National League games. Then DLR Waves and Shelburne picking up 1-0 win over Shelburne, while Treaty United suffered a 2-0 home defeat to Athlone. Looked like they could have got their first point of the season, but unfortunately, Athlone came out firing in the second half. Peamount United, massive 8-1 winners over Cork City, definitely putting a statement down of intent after Shelburne, of course, not suffering defeat at the hands of DLR Waves earlier on in the day. And Galway picking up a 3-0 win away from home against Bohemians, a great result for them to build on to try and see them maybe up to 4th or 5th in the table in the next coming week should they get results going their own way. And Wexford Youths remaining in 3rd place with a 2-0 win over Sligo. And you'll see the Premier Division table, of course, on your screen. Sligo Rovers up into 4th position with their late victory over Drogheda this evening. We'll look at the statistics as well coming from the Premier Division. I will start with top goal scorers, and as not a whole lot has changed from yesterday evening. Jamie McGonigal and Will Patching. Jamie McGonigal, of course, on 7, Patching on 6 in terms of the top goal scorers. No main changes there since yesterday. And just looking at the goalkeeping stats as well, no clean sheets this evening, but Joseph Anang is on 6. He is the man with the most clean sheets in that division at the moment. We'll look at the first division table from the only fixture, of course, of the day. Longford remaining in third place. Treaty United, unfortunately, down into 5th as Waterford had leapfrogged them yesterday evening. Looking at the statistics as well for the top goal scorer, or the top goal scorer, should I say, in that one, it remains tight at the top between Brennan O'Brien, Whitmarsh, and Phoenix Patterson, both goal scorers on the sheet yesterday. Of course, no goals tonight in that division. So we'll look at the goalkeepers as well. And David Harrington is remaining the man to beat. Conor Currans in 4. Conor Currans with 4. Jack Brady and Luke Dennison both keeping clean sheets tonight, of course. So they join him on 4 as well. They're all 2 behind David Harrington. And we'll finish by looking at the Women's National League table. Of course, 5 big fixtures today. And Peamount United's emphatic 8-1 win sees them 3 points clear at the top of the table. They will say they remain unbeaten on the pitch. Of course, the one defeat coming from the Sligo game earlier on in the season. Shelbourne getting their first defeat of the season, down with 15 points in second place, while Wexford Youths just behind them, 3 points behind on goal difference. They are also on 15 points. And we'll look at the statistics as well for top goal scorer. And with her 5 goals today, Anya O'Gorman has skyrocketed to the top. She only had 3 goals going into this weekend as well. She is now on 8 at the top, while Ella Malloy is in second. Our team, Anya's teammate Stephanie Roach on 5, joint level with Kylie Murphy as well. And we'll look at the goalkeeping stats as well, with Eve Bandana, of course, getting a clean sheet today against Shelbourne. She joins Amanda Budden on 4, while Maeve Williams goes up 1 to 3 as well. Now we'll look at the fixture list. Of course, we have another jam-packed week of fixtures coming up in both the Women's National League and the Men's Premier and the Men's First Division. We'll start with the Premier Division games, of course, on Friday, 7:45, unless stated otherwise. St. Pat's at home to Derry, Dundalk taking on Drogheda, Bohemians taking on UCD, Harps against Shelbourne. That one kicks off at 8 o'clock on Friday evening. One game on Saturday this week as well, where Sligo Rovers take on Shamrock Rovers at the Showgrounds, with 7:45 kickoff in that one as well. And on Friday in the First Division, Treaty United entertain Galway. Cork City take on Longford, Bray Wanderers meet Cove, and Athlone take on Wexford. All those games, of course, kicking off at 7:45. And then we'll take a look at the Women's National League games. We have games on Tuesday this week as well. 2 games kicking off at 7:45. Treaty and Cork, of course, kicking off at 7:15, while Wexford Youths take on Shelbourne, and DLR Waves are at home to Athlone. And on Saturday, we have another jam-packed round of fixtures as well. Shelbourne at home to Treaty at 2 o'clock. Waves and Cork City at 4 o'clock. Peamount United looking to keep their charge at the top alive as they entertain Bohemians at 5 o'clock. Galway taking on Wexford Youths at 6, and Athlone taking on Sligo at 7. So we'll be back again on Tuesday to cover the Women's National League games. And of course, all the reports from the Women's National League games today will be available on the website, as well as the games between the Premier Division and the First Division games that we had this evening as well. So we'll be back on Tuesday for Women's National League, and we'll be back on Friday, and of course next Saturday as well. And we'll have our podcast coming to you on Wednesday. So another jam-packed weekend of content available across the Finalwhistle.ie website and social media channels. Make sure to follow us on all the social media channels as well, and turn on your notifications when you're notified of what we have posted on those. So I hope you have enjoyed tonight's program. I hope you've enjoyed the weekend and have enjoyed all of the action across the divisions. Definitely, if your club has enjoyed a win, it is definitely a good weekend for you in that regards. We will see you again on Tuesday evening, but until next time, have a lovely rest of your weekend, and goodbye.